Yo, fantasy community, welcome to Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the TT FPL Pro-League, episode 26. Well, we coming back live after a Gameweek 24 littered with goals. I hope everyone was blessed with a green arrow, but of course that can't happen as people get greens, other people have to get red ones. But I hope everyone watching the show rose in those rankings. Well, this episode will be highlighted by the first big or crucial double game week of the 23-24 season. So without further ado, let's kick the episode off with the review of game week 24. So game week 24 began with my boys Manchester City showcased in the Gandhi game. Erling Haaland brace was enough to see my boys through 2-0 versus Everton. Fulham defeated Bournemouth 3-1. Solanke assist for all the sellers. Liverpool defeated Burnley 3-1. Goal spread between Jota, Diaz, and of course Darwin Núñez. A shock loss to Luton and Sheffield down them 3-1 as well. Nothing there for the Alfie buyers. 2-1 with a late winner from Brennan Johnson. So Tottenham defeat Brighton as the woes continue for the Zerbi and the boys. A turning goal added to the woes of the Wolves, 2-0 Brentford in that encounter. Newcastle scraped by Nottingham Forest 3-2. Bruno Guimaraes brace. 6-0 was the score between Arsenal and the Hammers. Goals galore, Saliba, Gabriel and a Saka brace. United scraped by Aston Villa with a late Scott McTominay winner. Rasmus stays hot 2-1 to United. And finally Chelsea breeze past Crystal Palace with the late show from Cole Palmer, 2 assists, Enzo on the scorecard. So 3-1 again to Chelsea. And that was the review of Game Week 24. And now with the review of Game Week 24, signed and delivered, we move now to the Proper Thing segment. And here we give you the picks that should be in your team now and going forward as they are the centerpieces to FPL with the Proper Things picks. Needle movers for the aggressive players who are looking to rise rank immediately. Spilt milk means they have overstayed their welcome and need to be sold ASAP. And finally, the wondering picks are the players you should keep a keen eye on with plans of bringing them in the future game weeks. And of course, again, we kicking things off hot and sweaty with the Proper Things picks. These are the picks again that should be in your team now and going forward as they are the centerpieces to FPL. So last game week, we again couldn't get the perfect score as we went 2 for 3, we hit 2 singles, not the home run, as Haaland returned 13 points and Jota scored and returned 7 points. But the lone miss in the Proper Thing segment was Alfie with 1 point. Luton shockingly went down to Sheffield. He did create 8 chances, but they didn't amount to anything. So we hit on Haaland and Jota, but unfortunately missed on Alfie. In this game week, we're looking to finally get that perfect score, that 3 for 3. And the Proper Things defender pick for game week 25, the double game week, is of course Virgil van Dijk of Liverpool coming in at 6.4 million. And now with a little shroud of injuries surrounding the phenom that is Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Robbo now coming back into the team and use that Tsimikas fit, that leaves either Alisson, who missed game week 24, or Virgil van Dijk as the most locked in defenders from the red side of Merseyside. And I lean towards Virgil van Dijk simply because I believe Liverpool will at least get 1 clean sheet, possibly 2, and Virgil van Dijk has shown his goal threat or his prowess from the set pieces. We saw that he laid down one for the guy who's now called Young Virgil or Kwanzaa, who narrowly missed the target, so almost got an assist for those who already have Virgil. I think at 6.4, he is a good buy if you could afford him. He's not like this astronomical fee that you'd have to pay for Trent. And if you have Trent and you're worried about the injury, or if we get news from Klopp closer to the deadline, I think a move down to Virgil and spreading the funds could be a massive way to get ahead of your rivals. So Virgil van Dijk 6.4, your Proper Things defender pick for game week 25, and he plays 2 fixtures. So Now we shift now into the midfield, and your proper things midfielder picks, I should say, a dynamic duo. One from Sky Blue and one from Liverpool again. And of course, I'm talking about Jota from Liverpool coming in at 8.2 million, keeping his streak hot. The only miss I think that he had since the calendar shifted to 2024 was against the Gunners. The goal scoring threat is there, and for a guy who's not known to be the tallest figure, seems to get his head on the odd set piece. We saw it again this last game week as he scored from the corner. With 2 games this game week, expect a huge return from Jota, and if you don't have Jota, I'll definitely try my best to get him into the team. Of course, at the time of recording on Tuesday, we have news that Mo Salah has returned to training. We don't know if that will lead to him getting a start in any of the games this game week, but definitely want to keep an eye on. But I think the upside on Jota this game week way outweighs any negative or any trepidation he might have. So the first proper things midfielder pick is Diego Jota coming in at 8.2 million. Accompanying him in the proper things midfielder pick is of course KDB coming in at 10.8 million. We saw him come off the bench in Game Week 24 and get the assist to Erling Haaland. Now with twice the fixtures, one being against Chelsea and one being against Luton, I believe KDB starts at least one of those games, and he's one of those players that has shown he can make an impact off the bench. So I wouldn't be too scared if he doesn't start both fixtures. At 10.8 million, he does not come cheap, but I think he's worth every penny, especially this game week. And if you have him in the team, don't worry. He plays in Game Week 26 at Manchester City, have a fixture, and then you could retool the team maybe to move Mo Salah, to bring in Mo Salah or another asset. So KDB accompanies Diego Jota in the proper things midfielder pick for double Game Week 25 for Manchester City. And now finally, we're going to keep it short and sweet for the proper things forward pick. It's Erling Haaland of Manchester City coming in at 14.4 million. I mean, what more can you say about the Norwegian superstar? A double in the Gandhi game, 13 points, fire him up versus Chelsea and Brentford. I know he doesn't have the best record versus Brentford, but I believe he finally breaks that duck, as they say. And of course, you get another game versus the Blues, of course. So, Erling Haaland, the favorite not only for the captaincy pick, but your proper things forward pick for double Game Week 25. And now that the proper things picks are sorted, we move into my favorite segment of the entire show. It's the needle mover segment for the aggressive players who are looking for those quick injection of points. You know, this is the segment for you. And last game week, we hit on both striker picks with Tony and Darwin. You know, Darwin got the yellow but crept into the bonuses, so they both got 6 points. We couldn't quite hit pay dirt with Barkley as Sheffield down to Luton, surprisingly 3-1, and Trent was on for a big one but got the injury at halftime and was withdrawn by club, so he only got 4 points. He got the assist and was on for bonuses, but unfortunate for the Trent owners. And this game week, most of the picks are going to be, of course, from the teams that encompass the double game week, and we could see that with the needle mover defender pick for game week 25 being Andrew Robertson coming in at 6.4 million for Liverpool. Again, there's the injury around Trent, and of course Kwanzaa and Konate and even Gomez are in the mix for the second centre back position next to Virgil van Dijk, who is our proper things pick. So that leaves Robertson as a needle mover pick from the Reds. I know there's a little trepidation with Tsimikas returning to fitness and on the bench for Game Week 24, but I think Robertson is by far the better player and the standout starting left back for Liverpool. I expect him to play both games. I expect Liverpool to be on course for at least 1 clean sheet, if not 2. And of course, we know Robertson is on the corner, so he whips in those balls from the left side. And even in the attacking part of the game, we all know that Robertson is one of the most attacking left backs in the entire league. I know the returns haven't been there because the guy has been injured and we seem to forget how great he is at his job, but Robertson by far is the standout needle mover pick for double game week 25 in the defensive position. So get him in and enjoy and reap the rewards of the big haul that is about to come your way. In midfield, we have a shocker here with a guy who only plays one game, and he's here simply because I know there are a lot of owners who are moving away from him simply because he doesn't have two games this game week, but he showcased what he's all about in Game Week 24. I'm talking about Starboy Bukayo Saka from Arsenal, now at 9 million. They do have one game versus Burnley, but they also play in Game Week 26. Not a fancy fixture, but one nonetheless versus Newcastle. So you don't have to worry about him blanking like the Liverpool boys who have two games this game week, but then blank in 26. So you still get the two fixtures over the 2 weeks. I think Saka is an even mover simply because with double game week fever in the air, a lot of players are moving away from those who have one game. And Saka, while has only the game versus Burnley, it's a game that I expect him to return. I expect Arsenal to win this game, especially with the sizzling form they have been in since returning from Dubai after they spent their holiday. I mean, they put 5 past Palace, they put down Liverpool 3-1, and then another showcase of excellence versus West Ham 6-0. I expect Saka to be at the forefront after not being the man for a while. Seems to have found his boots now, and I expect him to return handsomely. So if you do have Saka, please try to start him in Game Week 25 and don't be left out. Don't be like those guys who missed out on the Palmer points simply because they pivoted 1 week too early away from the young Englishman. So Bukayo Saka is your meal mover midfielder pick for Game Week 25. And finally in attack, it's another double game week player. I'm talking about Ivan Toney from Brentford, coming at 8.2 million. I mean, as double game weeks go, it's possibly the worst double game week you could possibly have with Manchester City and, of course, Liverpool on the docket. But Ivan Toney is one of those guys who just needs one chance to find the back of the net. And he's proven that since returning from his suspension. Another goal in Game Week 24. He's also locked in on penalties. He's locked in on free kicks. So everything goes through this Englishman when it comes to the honeybees of Brentford. I know he's not a guy who is much fancied, especially if you're looking to bring in Darwin or still without Erling Haaland, and that is your priority this game week. But if you have those two assets, I think Toney is the third best striker in the game right now. A lot of people would have trepidation again on selling Ollie Watkins, but I think that Ivan Toney is the play, especially since he plays in Game Week 26, so you don't have to worry about a blank from Brentford. So Ivan Toney, your needle mover forward pick for double Game Week 25. And now that I've handled my aggressive players, we now shift gears into the spilt milk segment. Again, these are the players that have overstayed their welcome in the team and need to be shipped up ASAP. They're starting to smell. It's beginning to get a little funky. Last game week, we hit it out of the park, 3 for 3, a home run grand slam when it came to picking the spilt milk candidates. If you are owner of Anderson, Bowen, or Gabi Jesus, and 1 for Anderson, 2 for Bowen and Gabi Jesus, didn't play, so a goose egg there, and you moved them on, kudos to you. And if you still had them, well, it was not a great game week. In this game week in defense, our spilt milk defender pick is Udogie of Tottenham Hotspurs, coming in at 4.9 million. I mean, it's been tough sledding for Tottenham with the clean when it comes to clean sheets. I mean, a lot of people do have Poro, but I saw that Udogie is 11% owned defender in the game right now. At 4.9 million, I don't think he's justifying the price tag. Spurs also blank in Game Week 26. And I don't see the merit of holding on to an asset like Udogie at the current time of recording. Again, Spurs blank in 26 is not a great fixture in 25. I think you could pivot away maybe to Reguilon or maybe to Alfie if you don't have him, or if you could go up, I would much fancy one of the Liverpool boys, especially Van Dijk or Robertson. So if you do own Udogie, it's time to sell. It's beginning to get a little funky. Spilt milk defender pick for Game Week 25. In midfield, we have a guy who is iconically known as the Snake, especially if you're a Liverpool fan. I'm talking about Raheem Sterling, coming in at 7 million. The now Chelsea winger is, as we call, a jack in the box right now, because no one seems to be able to read what Pochettino is doing week to week. I mean, Raz is one of the best players in the Chelsea roster, but he was benched in game week 24. A tough game, coming home to play his former employers, and one of his former employers in my boys Manchester City, and then he blanks in 26. So if you do have Sterling, that's 2 rough weeks they have to contend with, and I do believe if you have him, it's time to sell and pivot away to a more appealing asset, even if it's for one who plays one game this week and one in game week 26, because I believe they'll get more points, and it's just really bad for Chelsea and especially Sterling owners right now. It's funky, it's beginning to sting. So if you do have Sterling, please sell and move on to a better asset. And finally, in the attacking or the forward part of things, the spilled milk candidate unfortunately is Alexander Isak, coming at 7.5 million. Currently hurt, being one of the real reasons for him being here. And secondly, Callum Wilson returned from injury, although he picked up something on the arm against Nottingham Forest, so he's currently flagged as well. But I do believe now it will be tough for Isak to get that run of fixtures, especially with no Champions League football. So Callum Wilson being fit, you know, they love to rotate both strikers, one in, one out. Maybe Isak slips to the wing to play some, but Harvey Barnes is also back, as well as Anthony Gordon being back from the injury in game week 24. So I believe it's going to be tough for Isak when he returns from injury, and with the double game week coming up this upcoming game week, I think having Tony, Darwin, or if you want to take a punt on one of the Luton strikers, could prove to be beneficial to you if you're an Isak owner. So if you do have him, spilled milk pick, it's funky there for the Swedish striker. So Isak unfortunately lands spilled milk for game week 25. And now that spilled milk has been delivered, we move now to the wondering pick segment. Again, these are the players you should keep a keen eye on, with plans of bringing them in the upcoming game weeks. And last game week we said to keep an eye on Robbo, Bernardo Silva and Rasmus. You know, Robbo returned from injury, looked spectacular, you know, couldn't get a return, but it was great to see Robbo back doing his thing. You know, B Silva, we needed to know if he was locked in any starting position for Manchester City. He was bench, came off, didn't return, so 1 point, and Rasmus remained hot, 6 points for the Danish man. And now this upcoming game week, of course, the double game week. Some teams have 2 games, some teams have 1. And to kick things off, in the defensive position, we have Reguilon of Brentford, coming at 4.4 million. I mean, he would be in another category if it wasn't for one of the toughest doubles that you could possibly get in world football right now, of course, being against Liverpool and Manchester City. It doesn't come much more difficult than those 2 fixtures. However, we did see Reguilon return an assist in game week 24. He's on the corners. You know, Tony has the free kicks and penalties locked up, but Reguilon is attacking fullback, of course, from his time from Tottenham Hotspurs. He looks to continue that role now in Brentford. He does have Tony back, who is on the end of the end product that he delivers. So definitely want to keep a keen eye on this game week, and we're getting to see a litmus test again against Liverpool and City. So if he passes those examinations, the ones coming after would be easier. So you could bring Reguilon in, especially since he plays in 26 and has a game currently in 29. So Reguilon, your wondering defender pick for game week 25. And now we move now to the wondering midfielder pick. And surprise, Mo Salah is back in training ahead of a double game week that promises a lot of fireworks. Now, Mo Salah lands in the wondering pick segment simply because of the price tag, 13 mil. I mean, with the news him returning to full training, if he was more affordable or there was an easier way to bring him back into most teams, he would definitely be in another category, because we know of the prowess and the ability of this guy just to stack points. And with 2 games this game week, I mean, it's the perfect storm. If you do have the opportunity to bring Salah in the team, or if you're one of those who are holding him, definitely continue to hold or bring him in if it doesn't destroy your templated team right now. But for most owners, including myself, to bring Salah in at this stage, with him now coming back off injury, would require a multitude of hits or maybe the wild card. So we just keep an eye on to see the minutes that Salah gets this game week. Of course, the following game week 26, he blanks and has the Carabao Cup final, but then he could be all wheels up from game week 27 going forward. So we definitely keep an eye on the Egyptian King to see what happens with him this game week. And finally, in attack, Callum Wilson of Newcastle is our wondering, forward pick, coming in at 7.8 million. Returned from injury, couldn't get on his score sheet in a 3-2 win, but he does, while Newcastle do play his former employees in the Cherries of Bournemouth. If this guy could stay healthy, he would be on course for, a second or third in the Golden Boot race, because of what Erling Haaland does and what Salah does. So he's just excellent in front goal, but he has a poor injury history, and now Isaac helps rotate. Now with him being fit and Isaac being out injured, I think Callum deserves to have eyes on him, especially versus Bournemouth. If it wasn't again for a double game week, he would be in the needle mover segment, but I can't put him over Tony. I expect him to enjoy his paces versus his former employees, as teams and players right now just seem to like to score against their former teams, but he can't usurp Tony right now, so he just lands on the wondering pick list for game week 25. So Callum Wilson, keeping a keen eye on you to see what happens ahead of our game versus Arsenal, possibly bring him in for game week 26. And that brings us to the end of the Proper Things segment for episode 26 and for the double game week 25. I hope I gave you all some ideas on how to navigate the first big double game week of this season. A lot of points to be had. And of course, I would appreciate it very much if you go in the comment section and leave your thoughts on the pick so far, and while you're there, you could like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already, because we bring in the content each and every week, and you could see we hitting some home runs, as they say out here now. I know that's a baseball reference, but it's golazo after golazos in the show so far. And now with the Proper Things segment sorted, we're shifting gears into Captaincy Corner. Here is where we ease any dilemmas you have with who to put the armband on, especially with triple captain vibes in the air right now ahead of game week 25. A lot of people will be looking to cash in that chip like Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank, the greatest heist in WWE history. I know that triple captain fever is running a little rampant. So this week on Captaincy Corner, the guy who is the favorite captain and the triple captain favorite right now is the guy who returned 13 points and was our captain favorite in game week 24. I'm talking about Erling Haaland of Manchester City. 14.4 million is a lot of coin, but it's worth every penny, as again we know what this guy is capable of. We're seeing him on show later on today versus Copenhagen at the time of recording. Hopefully he makes it out unscathed and he's ready to rumble this upcoming double game week versus Chelsea and Brentford. No, he doesn't have the best record against Brentford, not a great record versus Chelsea either, but I think this is an opportunity here that you have to take when it comes to the captaincy of game week 25. I know a lot of people would lean towards one of the Liverpool boys or maybe take a punt with Tony, but trust and believe that you have to go Erling Haaland this game week, especially with them being hungry of the injury to score goals. He scored 2 versus Everton in the game, and I expect at least 2 more in this upcoming game week. So to cover the spread and to play safe, the best captaincy option and triple captain favorite for game week 25, Erling Haaland of Manchester City. In second place, it's Darwin Núñez, another striker, this time from the red side of Merseyside. A goal and a bonus point. Of course, he got the yellow. You know what Darwin is all about, and sometimes he just rises the blood pressure. With games versus Luton and of course Brentford this game week, it's two favorable fixtures. You know, Liverpool is one of the most attacking teams, not only in English but in European football, and Darwin spearheads the attack. So he lands on second this week on captaincy corner. But we do have an asterisk for tied seconds in brackets right now, as he, at the time of recording, has returned to full training. I'm talking about Mo Salah, the Egyptian king. No more words to describe the goal scoring prowess of this guy, but definitely we have to track this story, and if he's all wheels up for the double game week, he will slot in at number 2. So Mo Salah to keep an eye on, asterisk coming in here. At number 3 at the time of recording is Diogo Jota of Liverpool. I know the same fixtures as Darwin, but I do prefer Darwin this double game week, so he beats out Jota narrowly to number 3. At number 4 is another double game week player, Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City. I do expect him to come off the bench for one of those games, but he's shown that he can return even when his minutes are limited, but only lands at 4 this week. And to close out captaincy corner for the double game week 25 is Phil Foden at 5, a hat-trick in 23, unfortunately blanked in 24, but Phil Foden is definitely one to keep an eye on. So lands at number 5 on captaincy corner for double game week 25. So that ends the segment for this game week. Hopefully we helped ease any trepidation or any dilemmas you have with your captaincy this week. Again, triple captain fever is in the air. Most are heading to Erling. I know a lot of people like to gamble with it, but hopefully you come out successful with a green arrow. Now that we have delivered captaincy corner, we move now to the segment with the most banter. It's the rowdiest group chat I've ever been in. It's the toughest competition right now. I'm talking about the race for the 10K. Of course, here in the race for the 10K, we give you the latest updates of the TT FPL Pro-League to see how the race is shaping up. And you know, it's a tough race right now. And if we look at the table right now, we could see number 1 still is number 1. I'm talking about Soberslads from FPL Trini, 89 points this game week and 1536 on the season. You know, just continuing his march at the top of the table. You know, no stopping this guy right now. And if we look at his team this last game week, we could see that unlike last game week, the defense came through with Gabriel 12, Trent Alexander-Arnold 4, and Poro 2. You know, Ariola, who's egg unfortunately for him, but fortunate for us, you know, giving us a little bly. In midfield, Foden, Palmer, Saka, and Jota. You know, and then in attack, Darwin with the goal, Solanke 4, and Erling Haaland captain 26 points. So another great game week there by FPL Training, continuing his march atop of the TT FPL Pro-League. So kudos there to FPL Training. Number 2 remains number 2 as well, as Eric 12 by Andre Roberts, 1530 on the season and a 90-point game week. Continues to just draft behind Soberslads and FPL Trini, you know, just keeping the pace right there, hoping for the slip up. So 1 and 2 remain 1 and 2. Those guys just not slipping up this season. They own it, they own it, they own it. And number 3, however, we have a little riser here by Sky Saw Redemption by Stefan, 91 points on the game week, 1504 on the season. You know, just creeping now into the top 3. You know, a great week there by Stefan. And to round out the top 5, we have Celine and White Rice Party and Lord of the Minks by Jordan. Now in 6th, we have a guy just exiting the top 5 and Midas Touch, in brackets OFB by Lorenzo. Another rise at 7 by Coilers FC by David. Everyone Loves a Fatty by Ryan. Baruda by Shane, all rising up. And Dr. Phil Foden with a little red arrow this week by Capel, rounding out the top 10. If we look at 11 there, I'll just give a quick mention to my cousin there. Pelican Bay by Nick, you know, rising up and just outside the top 10. So congrats to all the managers, the top 10, you know, just making big moves this season and keeping the competition very greasy, as they say in Trinidad, you know. It's really tough to make your mark in the TT FPL Pro-League this season. As we move down, and not too far down again, I remember when we was in the 50s, in the 60s, not too long ago, you could see us making little strides now to get back on track. Now in 24th position, a 96-point game week. My boys there, 14-34 in the season. If you look at my team this game week, you can see we went big at the back with the Arsenal boys, 12 apiece, and Erling Haaland captain, and also Saka, Palmer, and Jota all returning Darwin as well. And if you stayed so far for the entire episode, and you want to know what your boy doing with his team this game week, we enter now to my plan transfer. And this game week, I am two train of thoughts right now, possibly three at the time of recording. We could do it a little cheeky and get rid of Watkins and just bring in Ivan Toney ahead of the double, and he also plays in 26 just to get an extra fixture. But Watkins does play Fulham, and I think he could be on a heater going down the stretch. That would require the game week 26 transfer to be a reverse of selling Darwin to bring Watkins back in. So that would be a 2-week tying of the transfers. But that is where the train of thought is right now. And another little thing here that I could do, since I can't get up to VVD without taking a hit, I might just move on Poro to regular and get another double game week player has a fixture in 26, while Poro has one this week and blanks in 26. So those are the two train of thoughts, the school of thoughts that I'm in right now. Maybe I'll do both for the hit, but right now, if I had to pick one, it would be Watkins out and Toney in. So that concludes the My Plan Transfer segment, and it concludes episode 26 of Proper Things. Again, it was fun being out here. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. I always have fun delivering the content. You know, I love playing the game and I love doing the shows. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. You all could go down in the comment section and leave some comments where I do nice things, where I do things you say, Mike, you're not really giving me the picks I want to hear, and hear better picks, you know, alternative picks. And while you're there, you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we have content coming each and every week. And to the guys up there in the TT FPL Pro-League doing the thing, oh God, you can get my little blind. I'm going to see my way a little bit now, heading into the Lenten season. So, congratulations again to the managers. Thank you again for all the support. And we'll see you all next week after the double game. And always remember to do proper things in all walks of life. I'll see you all next week. Peace.